All right, Kethis combo. Kethis of the Hidden Hand. This is a deck based around this card that was competitive when it was in Standard. It says legendary spells cost you 1 less mana to cast. We pair this with Diligent Excavator that says whenever you cast a historic spell, target player puts the top 2 cards of their library into their graveyard. Historic cards are artifacts, legendary cards, and sagas. So how this ends up working is, with Diligent Excavator in play, we fill our graveyard up, then we cast Kethis of the Hidden Hand to start casting spells back up out of our discard pile to fill our discard pile up. And then eventually we fill our graveyard enough to cast Othakaya again and again and again out of our graveyard using Kethis to deal 3 damage to our opponent a bunch. Or we can deck our opponent by targeting them with the Diligent Excavator triggers after our graveyard fills. Now, the big appeal to playing this deck as opposed to some of the Underworld Breach combo decks that have been going around is this deck I think has a little bit better backup mid-range plan. So Uro, Othakaya, and Ruinous Blast are all legendary cards that play well with Kethis and are fine to mill over when we're comboing, that are also interactive and card advantage cards for when we're not just linearly comboing people. Another thing that's sweet in Historic Anthology 2 is Thalia, Guardian of Thraben, was introduced to this format, and Thalia's increased non-creature spells by 1 gets offset by Kethis. So we can play Thalia, and then Kethis offsets it, so we can play this as a hate card for the Breach decks, and for things like Nexus of Fate, and still combo through it thanks to Kethis offsetting her. So that's great. Yes, Lazav with Uro is also sweet. You can, like, play Laz on 2, mill over Uro, and then copy it on 3 and attack with your 6/6 draw card on 3, which is very sweet. All right, let's pop on into some ranked matches here with this one and see how it goes. No Blue Sorcerer means an easy mulligan. One of the downsides to this deck over some of the other like Breach builds is that your mana is a little bit less consistent because you are playing 4 colors. I'm going to go ahead and lead on Excavator here. Just get the milling going. Mitt Romney is pitching UBI during the coronavirus as much as be a sign of the apocalypse. So, part of the reason why Yang's platform works so well for so many people is because UBI is largely considered, bipartisan by many, in large part due to the fact that while it is the government giving people money, it's not the government telling people what to do with their money. And like, something like UBI is going to be necessary to get through this. Lots of businesses need to close down for the sake of the public good and stopping this from becoming as bad as it could get. If the government does not step in, more people are going to die. UBI is universal basic income. It basically means you just give every adult some amount of money. I taught a class on Twitch and chat is spammy. I have no idea how you do it. Lots of practice. So what you need to realize is while I'm definitely better than I used to be at playing while I stream, it's still a learned skill. I'm still not nearly as focused as when I'm playing off stream too. Okay, hopefully Fblthp mills over something useful down the line for Lazav. You know, maybe the fact that they added Ghost Quarter to this format means that I'm supposed to play 1 basic in this deck. Good golly, our mills have been bad, huh? That's pretty impressively unfortunate. I had 70 students in my chat and had to mod 2 people instantly. just to keep it from being a meme fest, and it was pretty challenging. Yep. That is correct, Saucer Crab. That was one of the big problems with Yang's policy platform, in my opinion, is that paying for things like that via VAT tax kind of offsets some of the gains that you have from it. Yeah, completely agree. If the goal of that tax is to help lower income people, so, looking to mill a bunch of legendary stuff here. Hey, there's 2. Hey, there's 1 more. This kinda mills over a legendary. We drew a Kethis. Okay, still need a white source though, right? We actually kinda wish we could have milled Kethis there, so that way we could turn it into this. So, still no white mana. My students insist they're better at everything while multitasking. Yeah, something like that. I think I'm just playing another Lazav out here. I really need to get going before they get set up. But it looks like they're playing Yarok Field. Hey, sweet. Okay, so we hit a Kethis. Hey, we hit a white source there too. And we hit Uro here as well, so that sounds great. Yep. We were just playing the opponent's archetype. We were talking about how if they don't interact, we win. We are very likely to win if we... Wow, they have multiple Field of Runes in their deck. Yeah, there should probably be a basic in my deck. So Teferi ensures they can't have interaction just in case. Perfect. All right, yeah. So they should be dead here. We pick up Mox Amber. We get to replay Mox Amber. So the way Lazav text works is that we get to go ahead and exile 2 things here. Or sorry, this is Uro's text technically. And then we get to cast everything that's in our bin right now. We have 20 cards left in our deck. I have almost all the Mox in. So let's just start making white and black mana here. My goal, we're deterministic, so I'm going to flip my deck into my bin. And then we make white and black mana while we flip my deck into the bin. And then we'll start... Actually, should I start milling them? At a certain point, we're going to start milling them. Eventually, we'll start casting Oath of Kaya's as well. That's how we're going to kill them, is by looping Oath of Kaya. Hey, thanks for 11 months, Adidas. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. 12 cards left in my deck. Yeah, they probably have a singleton Nexus, but I'm not going to kill them by milling. I'm going to kill them by dealing 3 to them. So Oath of Kaya is legendary. So not only can we cast it with Kethis, but when we cast the second one, the first one dies. So we're gonna win this game by casting Oath of Kaya, you know, 3 more times. Or 6 more times, sorry. Found the last Mox. So for every 2 legendaries we exile, we get to deal 6 damage to them. And we have plenty of more than enough to accomplish that, right? And at this point, I'm going to start milling them, because if they're not conceding, I'm going to get to see what's in their deck. Ah, the cheese tasting part. They have a Bajuka Bog, that's good to know. Things to think about. Save targets, always remember when, huh? Yeah, that was a third Field of Ruin. Stone Rains are scary, chat. You thought about including a Bajuka Bog in your field list? No, I think Bajuka Bog is bad in the field list. You don't have a way to tutor it up. And I think if you're going to have a graveyard hate card that you can't search up, you'd rather just play a good one. I think if you think you need graveyard hate to beat decks like what I'm currently playing, and you might, you'd probably rather just play Leyline of the Void rather than playing half measures like Bajuka Bog. And it also just like doesn't matter where their Nexus of Fate is, because I'm gonna kill them with Oath of Gaia. So like, the only reason I'm milling them is because I want the information. So like, they're deterministically dead. I'm just getting to see their entire deck. Like here, they have multiple Bajuka Bogs in their deck. Their mana base is kind of wild. They probably have a hard time turning on field consistently, huh? Based on what their deck looks like so far. Yeah, Ashiok sounds great as graveyard hate, because Ashiok is a hate card for Scapeshift as well. Yeah, you're deterministic when you have enough cards in your graveyard to either mill them or kill them with Oath of Gaia's casting. Small shortcut for his float one mana with the Mox, then play another and that cast Oath. Oh, sure. Sure, so don't float all the mana, because then you don't have to click on it in your pool. Wait, you don't have to click on it in my pool regardless, right? Oh, I guess without clicking, I can just do it here? Okay, so only float with one? Yeah, that makes sense. Saves you a click. I'm excited for the clock to not matter at all. Like I know you're probably locked in your house right now, opponent, but really you don't need to make me click through this, I promise. I don't mind doing it, but you're just wasting your time. You know, we know the opponent values their time very little. Ah, yes, the classic watching my timer go down while taking game actions. I don't know. I'm a big fan of making your opponent get to a game state where they're deterministic to beat you. I think once your opponent is deterministic to beat you, like I don't fault people for like not conceding when you're like playing to a very small percentage out, but like when your opponent has you deterministically dead on board, like, not conceding is just like wasting your time as much as theirs. NY, NJ, and CT closed all bars, gyms, theaters, and casinos. That's good. I'm glad to hear they're going even further than. Nexus was the only card left in their deck at the end there. So I think I'm bringing in Jace as an alternate win condition. I'm bringing in the Ruinous Blast to clean out their Cavaliers and stuff. Rest of this seems fine. I don't think Thalia is particularly useful here. Easy mulligan. Yeah, Illinois took all their restaurants to take out only, starting tonight. Hopefully going to take out only is enough to stem things. I'm gonna add one basic to this deck after this set. With the addition of Ghost Quarter to this format, I don't think I can afford to skimp anymore. Sure. So we're gonna lose Kethis here. I guess I should plan for this, right? Like, this is something that I should expect out of their sideboard. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have cut. I cut 2 Uros because I thought my fair game plan wasn't going to be very good. But I definitely should leave those in if I'm expecting Unmoored Ego. I mean, the other answer is if you can't afford to tip people well who are delivering during this literal time of crisis, don't order takeout. We are gonna be okay, I think, Bloodbath. Oh no! Oh, we're being so punished for our greed, chat. We're just being punished for our greed. Actual factual single, right? Yikes. Hashtag sometimes lucky. Are we milling them in the hopes they side out Nexus? I don't know. I'm just milling them because milling myself isn't very useful without Mox in my deck. I could Tamiyo pick up a land. Maybe that's right, in case they decide to Stone Rain me again. Hashtag skill game. Oh no! Oh no! The Stone Rains shall continue until morale improves. Oh god. Oh, everything's gone so horribly wrong, chat. Everything's gone so horribly wrong. We're just getting puns over and over again. Alright, opponent. I have to know, opponent. How many Field of the Dead mirror matches did you lose to feel this was necessary? I feel like it had to have been some large number, right? How many do we think they lost before committing to this? All right, well, we're gonna draw 2 cards. Actually, they might take Uro here, huh? They are gonna take Kethis. Yep, okay. To draw a couple cards at least. Okay. Oh. Oh, we're halfway there. Oh, living on a prayer. Take my hand. We'll make it, I swear. Oh, do 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 do. Hashtag sometimes lucky. Sometimes lucky, chat. Sometimes plus my Tamiyo. Draw 3. Cha-ching. All right, we're going the distance. We're going ball speed. We're all alone. No! We were so close! We were so close! We were so close! We were so close! We were so close, chat! Oh no! Oh no! I felt the entire range of human emotion during this match, chat. The entire range. I've laughed, I've cried. It's just it's been a roller coaster. Maybe they punt and attack Teferi. That would be so good for us. We're not just dead. We're only mostly dead. Only mostly dead. Well, I mean, they just escaped the first arrow, right? Dear opponent, please attack my Teferi. Thank you. Have you considered attacking Teferi? He's very rude. You know you want to attack him. Uro's face in that animation kind of represents how I feel about him. Uro's animation is totally him going, "You mad, bro?" Yeah, basically.
I am not making this up as I go. Right on schedule.
They still got 9 cards in their ban. All of my milling them.
Stop. Don't worry. I got it.
Ended up biting us a little. I don't think we have any outs here. Because, like, even, what's it called? Even, well, no, the Uro gains life when it attacks too, chat. Of course your coworker not understanding science is related to the fact that they're a Trump supporter. Nobody with a good understanding of reality supports Donald Trump. All right, what am I doing here? Is it crazy to trim one of these? That's probably crazy. Oh, do we want Ashiok? Maybe? I don't think we want Legion's End. I think I'd rather have Ruinous Blast, because this clears Cavalier out. I could see Ashiok being okay here. Just trim around the edges and see how it goes. 4 lands. Let's do it. What's the interaction with Ashiok and Nexus? Nexus of Fate at no point is ever in the graveyard. So again, one of the 100,000 things that's messed up about Nexus of Fate is it just goes back into the deck. It is a replacement effect. It says, instead of putting me in the graveyard, put me back in your deck. Yeah. Yeah, who's smart and thin and sideboarded out a Mox Amber? This guy right here.
This is all just an illusion. Let's think this through.
We've got huge tracts of land, chat. You'll note that I'm waiting to play out my other colors of mana, so that way they can't field me off them proactively.
It's a matter of give and take.
All right, that one can stay there. That one's staying there, chat. Universal is releasing theatrical releases the same day for home viewing. That's sick. They don't have any green mana so far, huh? That's pretty good for us. And Casualties is double green, right? Hey, Stephen O. Thank you for the 3rd of a year. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Jace ults at 8, so still a little bit on him. Okay, there's their first green source, the old turn 6 tapped woodland cemetery. They are pretty close to just dead. You're not wrong. So... Sideboarding on a Mox Amber is like a prank where you put a cow on every floor of a building except for one, and people spend all day looking for the missing cow. Yep. Yeah, did you buy the mac and cheese 2 years ago? Or did it expire 2 years ago? Expired 2 years ago. That one... It's definitely still good 2 years later. I don't. That's a strong definitely. How is standard today? A dumpster fire. All right, let's do it. I feel like that was a really good example of the range of this Kethis deck. Like, I know our opponent stumbled a little bit. Oh, I wanted to put a basic in, right? I was like, I knew I wanted to do something. I was gonna add a basic land. What color basic do we play? Is it just an island? The cancel button worked, yeah. I'm pretty sure I'm cutting a spell. Just for reference, I'm pretty sure the correct answer is cut a spell. That's probably a blue source, huh? We cut Fblthp, I think. Do you really want the only color that doesn't cast Kethis? Alright, that's fair criticism. Swamp is the only basic that casts Laz and Kethis. However, that does not escape Uro. Basic planes. So there's 16, 18 blue spells, 19 blue spells in this deck. And there's 14 white spells. I'm going to play an island. I think it's supposed to be an island. The hands you keep that are missing colors are more keepable with blue sources than non. If that makes sense. And, like, I'm cutting a spell for it, so, like, it's not like I'm going down other sources, right? I have the same number of every other colored source in my deck. I just, like, have an extra blue now. The European Union just announced a complete travel ban. Good. You can't play Island, it's banned in Best of 3 Historic. I don't believe you. Oh, right. I can't just play a land and pass. Silly Mox. Mindstone, Abzan lands, opponent is rank 44. You have my attention. I'm listening. Taking notes. You think Doom I mean, Mindstone isn't really good with Doom Foretold. Okay. Grafdigger's Cage. How will I ever answer a Grafdigger's Cage, chat?
You show remorse, I'll show respect. Enough, trust me. I have a plan.
Oh, how will we ever answer a Grafdigger's Cage, chat? Wow, so they're like 4-color Field of the Dead, eh? Karn -2s to get Golos. That's some big brain.
Here we go.
Guard yourself. Thanks for the 14 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around.
Buy and watch. Hey, that's more like it. My retribution will be swift.
Yeah, I expect there's a Crucible in their 75. I think that's probably a pretty reasonable assumption.
Oh, I've done the hero thing before.
Yeah, I would assume 2 Steam Flogger Boss. And if not a national quarantine, then the a lot of different states implementing them themselves.
It is best if you stop. Oh, Fencer.
You get like a Spyglass here. So I plussed my Teferi on my last turn, so we're going to end step this Ruinous Blast. I'm just like hoping to catch Grafdigger's Cage or another artifact here with it. This is at 1, right? Oh, yeah, just moments before the disaster. Shiggity, shiggity, shreked. Get wrecked. Again, I do think the deck that we're playing is a swish. I do think the deck that we're playing is a worse linear deck on average than the worse linear deck on average than the breach decks, but the interactive elements just like are far superior. I think I'm just doing this and plussing is my plan.
I know my responsibility. Let's try this.
In-person voting is not happening tomorrow in Ohio, just announced. Good. That is the one thing I've not been happy with the governor of Illinois so far. He's not canceled in-person voting. They should all in-person voting should be canceled tomorrow. They should extend voting by mail and then move the primary date to somewhere in June or July, wherever the last one is, assuming we get a handle on things. Is there a playable Dryad deck? I'd be kind of surprised. I feel like that card's pretty clunky overall. So this is probably a matchup where I don't really need Oathakaya, and I'd rather just have a Jace in my deck. Seems fine. Yeah, seems fine. Why hasn't Tulsi Gabbard dropped yet? Because, well, I was taught if I don't have anything nice to say, I shouldn't say anything at all, so I'm going to keep my mouth shut. Keep this bottom las. Hope to draw some lands. Look at that. That looks way better than a second Fblthp, huh? Looks way better than a second Fblthp. I am to gorge myself on Hulu content while I work from home, and who knows for how long. Can I bump Historic Enchantment Aggro? You definitely can, Haskell. Thank you for the very generous tier 2 sub. I cut the third. We had 3 Fblthps previously, so I cut one of those.
I am not going to sit this out. Don't make it. I've got
Tempo your Mind Stone. Confirm the Golos deck. I think we're gonna end up stumbling too long here to do anything useful.
I'm known for my excellent timing. No, I am not making this up as I go.
I believe we added the island we added was a 25th land, so not quite 26 in this one. Probably dead at this point. Yeah, pack it up, pack it in. Let me begin. I am work from home. The only difference in my schedule is that my children are around now. In addition to... It's like the olden days, chat. People that have been here for, 3, 4, 5 years, they remember. Might have been able to hear Jake stomping around above me. This whole thing has unfortunately meant that we found... I'm not entirely certain that the world slowly coming to an end here is not my fault. Because you see, I found a contractor who showed up early and then gave me a reasonable quote. And I assume the world's only appropriate response to finding a reasonable contractor who showed up early is the world has to end, right? Like, you can't have that. You can't, like, that's just not something that's supposed to exist, right? Alright, so... Do we just Ashiok mill ourselves here? I think that's the line. Just get set up. Well, I mean, at least I don't need lands this game, huh? It was a glitch in the Matrix where they had to shut down the simulation, right? Turning off Fabled Passage, that's a good call. Get my name Teferi here. It's a 4-of I haven't hit yet. Hey, we can escape that one next turn. Yeah, we're definitely getting our mileage out of the kids' Switch games. I asked Declan and he sounded like he thought the idea could be fun. I might do I have a capture card in my house somewhere, I believe. If I can locate my capture card, we might do a Switch stream with the kids at some point here. Do you want to double spell that turn with Kethis, Mox, 3 drops? I don't think so. Like, they're bricking off, so I don't know that we're under, like, a lot of pressure to run them down. Getting the 6/6 into play. Let's just close the game out really quickly. The Switch EMU working. I mean, I have an actual Switch, and I have. Pretty sure a capture card exists at my house. This is exactly right. Governor of Ohio announces no in-person voting tomorrow, and that other forms of voting will be extended until June 2nd. That's exactly what should be done. God, I really hope Illinois follows suit. I hope all the states that are supposed to be voting tomorrow follow suit. It's incredibly irresponsible to hold elections tomorrow. Yay, 1-3 blockers. Looking for that card's probably gonna be great here, but I just need lands, right? Do I keep this and like try to hit lands with Teferi? I guess I have Tamiyo to pick it back up. Let's spin that. Yes, yeah, I mean, every state has mail voting, but like, for example, the Illinois deadline for voting by mail was Thursday, I believe, and like, Christy didn't do mail voting because we were both planning to just go in person before all this happened. So like, she missed the cutoff, and she's not gonna go vote in person while being pregnant under the current circumstances. You probably still shouldn't go to the park, Robert.
No more help protecting.
The thing from my understanding, this thing lives on surfaces for multiple days, and parks are really high traffic areas that are like gross even on a good day. Stay home. I think we're dead. This is the matchup that there's Noxious Grasp in our sideboard for. I'm glad I did my mail voting because I just can't leave work during the available hours. Yep. I went and early voted Thursday morning. We're just dead, right? I mean, it's honestly, aside from the fact that, like, they're idiots for still believing Trump at this point, like, anybody who backs the president has listened to that man say constantly over the last few weeks that this isn't a big deal and there's no risk to normal Americans, which are just flat out medically incorrect lies. The number of confirmed cases is going to grow astronomically quickly as we actually start testing people. Okay, Trojan, thanks for the 4 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. If you haven't looked at any of the charts from Italy, you should. They'll encourage you to stay home. All right, so Grasp in. Ruinous Blast here. I think we trim Fblthp. This is a matchup where having our interaction tends to be good. Uro is also excellent. It's just a big body of blocking. I think I have to mulligan this, right? Just like no black sorcerer with 2 block spells seems like an easy mulligan. I guess I'm keeping this. I hope with the Scryland, we just like, if we hit a legendary 3-drop, or 2-drop, we can play this on 4, which is hopefully good enough. I guess we keep that. Maybe it's wrong. Maybe I'm supposed to just look aggressively for a legendary spell. Yep. Gross. That's gonna kill my excavator here.
That's the sound of a stampede coming straight at ya.
Yep, Alex. Oh, good. So that means you all have it then, Kuntz. Is the reality. The likely reality. Oh, they're missing a land drop. That's good for me.
They can only punish you if they catch ya.
All right. Do we eat the elf or do we trade with the raptor? We probably just eat the elf, right? I could trade here and then pressure here. This is probably correct. All right. If we can find a... We can find like an Uro. Or even a Ruinous Blast would be absurd. I'm gonna go ahead and send both of these here and clean their Planeswalker out. It's a pretty good one.
Now you get to the spirit. We are the
Yep. Does anyone in chat currently have COVID-19? Statistically, almost assuredly, yes. Do they know? That's another question. You were told to stay home and there was no test, but the big orange man on the television promised me that everybody that wanted tests would have tests. I don't understand. Are you telling me the big orange dictator lied to me? Alright, so this gains us 3. We float a mana here so we can escape this. Yep. Stop, Jeff. My laughs turned into coughs. Uro really punching the clock into work here for us, which is great. That's good, Tamiyo. Bye, friends. I love the fair backup plan in this deck. It's just very chef's kiss. Uro plus Ruinous Blast plus Othakaya, like, I almost conceded this game at one point, and we're just, like, scrapping it out. You love to see it, chat. Is this a concession? This has got to be a concession blast, right? Bye, friends. How many times do I have to teach you this lesson, opponent? How many times must we go down this road that we've been down before? An Escape Titan Ruinous blasting the countryside is flavorful. It is. It is definitely a savor the flavor type moment. Gosh, if they have a... So, with Noxious Grasp drawn, I probably just plan to hold that up this turn, right? Hopefully we don't get Veil Summered. We just cross our fingers and hope for the best. Bail's not legal here, chat. Ha! Got him! I put the fear in you, though, didn't I? Didn't I? You could admit it, chat. You were scared. You can admit you're scared. It's okay. You can admit that you're scared. It's a scurry time. Sick. Two cards in my bin. Do I play around Lightning Strike? I think I'm supposed to shock here. Because this lets me escape the Titan next turn. For those wondering, Othakaya does not enable Mox Amber.
You call it anarchy. For me, it's just business. Oh, there'll be nothing but dust left when
Othakaya, please. Kethis. I can cast that, right? Right? So I'll escape this, and then I'll have this, and this make screen. Yeah, I think that's keepable, because it's castable. Think I need to leave Diligent Excavator in there? So the problem with Uro Float Mana Excavator is it doesn't put cards into my graveyard TDM, and I need to put cards in my bin, so that way I can escape Uro the following turn.
love to discuss you more than law and order.
Alright, so if this hits Othakaya, we're gonna win this game.
Let me aid your research.
Oh, I tapped off my blue mana. That's such a huge mistake. Oh! Oh, no! Oh, I missed it! I could have Ruinous blasted. Oh, no! We'll do it post-combat. It'll be fine. I could have killed Domri though here, right? Could have killed Domri. Yes, Jacob.
I'm hungry too, Daddy.
You're hungry for Cheerios?
Yeah.
Why don't you get some Cheerios out of the cabinet?
I try. Mommy say no. And,
Did you ask her really nicely?
no.
You should ask really nicely. Say, Mommy, can I please have some Cheerios? I bet she'll give them to you.
I'm playing the night to work.
It's a hard knock life, kid.
I'm hungry. Give me Cheerios.
Go tell Mommy. She will give you some food. I love you, dude.
No tail should be discarded.
How do I want to tap you?
I told my mommy really nicely. They're glory Cheerios.
Yes, tell your mommy really nicely and she'll get you Cheerios because your tummy are hungry.
I
They're also in the pantry. You could reach them yourself, I bet. I bet you could reach them yourself.
No, I mean, yes. Your mommy said no again.
So,
Mommy said no, I know.
All right, so there's a lot of right ways to eat this recess. I'm not sure it really matters.
Seek and find.
So we'll do this. Kill this. We'll escape this. Again, just like the range on this deck's been really fantastic today. Just the amount of times that we've killed from just very fair board states. You can tell when he leaves the door open because the draft just comes right on in. I like that they're still fighting it out. Like there's a possible route to victory. Solidly in garbage time. I did hear about Trump being a literal ghoul. Yeah, opponent had a lot of good spells here, but they just like stumbled on mana long enough. And it just really didn't matter. 882. Moving on up the ladder. Do 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 do. Was Uro in this last time we played it? Yep. Apparently there's rumor that there'll be a shutdown in the US. There should be a shutdown in the US. All non-emergency services, non-grocery stores, and probably gas stations should be closed. In my opinion. If drastic actions aren't taken to flatten the curve of this thing, lots of additional people will die that didn't need to die. Drugstores, pharmacies, yeah. Pharmacies should be included on the list. Obviously have someone who's not sitting here on Twitch streaming make up what the actual list is. But people are selfish and greedy, and you cannot trust them to do the right thing. That's just the reality. People cannot be trusted to do the right thing in this instance. Lazav acts as extra everything. It's extra Kethis, it's extra Uro when you want to play fair, it's extra Diligent Excavator, just does a little bit of everything. Food, medicine, supply chain. Yes, there you go. You know what? I think I sequenced wrong. If I would have played Lazav last turn, I think I could have copied Uro and attacked with him this turn, right? I guess I would have taken 6 mana, I'd be 1 short. It's kind of a sick, twisted bit of irony that the groups of people who are most susceptible to this are in large part the ones that are most likely to believe the FUD and propaganda that comes out of Donald Trump's mouth, and thus are putting themselves in danger because they believe their glorious leader. So I think I'm supposed to copy an Uro. I basically just want to fill my graveyard up so we can combo them with Kethis. So I'm going to copy Uro here, attack this in, draw a card, let it die, and then play another Lads. We might repeat next turn, potentially, he says before he draws Diligent Excavator. FUD stands for Fear, Uncertainty, and Doubt. Yes, pre-Uro, this deck had Emery in it, and I think Emery's better at being linear, but I think, why do these have double disfigure? That's rough. I think in a post-breach world, if you're just looking to be linear, you're better off playing breach. Yeah, I think this deck's fine in best of one. Yes, Lazav is another excavator here. So let's copy. I want to tap so I can cast Uro out of my hand here. If I attack with the Laz Uro first, there's a strong chance they block this time through since there's a Diligent Excavator in my bin. So I know they didn't block last turn, but there's no guarantee that they repeat that non-block. So we're pretty unlikely to combo from here, but I think I'm gonna just fill my graveyard up a little bit. I'm gonna exile an Uro, or exile 2 Uros here. And then I can play Teferi. Bounce Mox, replay Mox, play Fblthp.
Stand by and watch. Time for plan B. As soon as don't worry, I got this.
I do have a land drop as well. You're not wrong. So with the land drop, I'm actually going to shock this in, and then I'm going to play Uro, which will then let me play this land from my hand into play. Did we bin a second, Mox? Yeah, we just didn't hit enough legends to do anything from here. The good news is, unless they floop Nexus of Fate, we're like in a fine spot. We'll get to kill them next turn. Like, we're very, very likely to get to deterministic next turn. sweet. So they should be dead. Temur Adventures is a good choice. It's a good tier 1 deck.
I've got it.
So you want to cast as many spells out of your hand as possible to start, because you want as many legendaries in your graveyard as possible to get the can cast text when you eventually activate it. Hopefully we're eventually going to be activating it. Okay, there's another Mox. That's great. Let's do this. Start filling this up. I think we're gonna do this too, huh? I already have one of these in play, but it puts, 3 cards in my bin plus itself. Keep the one that's already transformed. Lazav is not another excavator. When it takes a copy of something, it becomes that thing, including the name. Yeah. So Ruinous Blast is fine here. Jace is good. I think we want to trim a Mox and a Kethis, because they're going to be bringing in Unmoored Ego, and those will be the things that they're going to be naming most likely. And I think this is just the plan. Maybe on Teshar for grinding a little bit. Could see that being okay. If we're going to play a fair game. This doesn't really impact them. Most of their ramping is like Cavalier of Thorns and Elvish Rejuvenator. Playing around Disfigure is a good call. I like that suggestion. How long's Teferi legal and standard for? I don't know, like 28 weeks or something silly. Yeah, rotation is always in October. Always, always. Too long is the answer, yep. Hey, they took Kethis, so we get to draw a card here and have a better chance at our land drop. That's exciting. I'm excited to miss on our land with 2 draws instead of missing with just 1. It'll be good beats. Sick. All right, so I think we just do this. I think it's right to lead on Uro here, because not only does it help me hit a land drop for Tamiyo, potentially, but I think if they have a second ego, taking Uro kind of makes sense, so I'd like to get it out of my hand. Although I guess if they're going to take it, it would draw a card. So yeah, I guess that line of thinking doesn't really track. I boarded out a Kethis expecting this opponent to bring in Ego. So we play 4 Kethis in the main deck, but I think if you're expecting Unmoored Ego, boarding out a Mox and boarding out a Kethis makes a lot of sense.
You would make an excellent informant for my study. I guess you do not want to talk. The past is never forgotten.
I've enjoyed Historic. Exploring new formats that are largely unsolved tends to be a lot of fun. and Historic will likely stay unsolved longer than other formats. Whoa, they had it and they just weren't using it? That's a tilt. Didn't get to activate my Tamiyo. Well, shoot. I think I'm gonna plus this for now, because they could very realistically play a 5-drop I'd like to bounce next turn, like if they play a Yarok or a Cavalier. So, oh, no, we'll keep her. Worth noting that even with my Kethis gone, milling myself makes sense because there's still a Jace in my deck, so I could still win through self-mill, which is wonderful. Yep. Why do I think it will largely stay unsolved? Yeah, the card pool in Historic is going to change more often than the card pool in every other Magic format. So Historic is guaranteed to get new cards every, however many weeks it is, every 6 weeks, because you'll get new set releases and Historic anthologies alternating back and forth. And, like, the Historic anthologies are introducing such a high quantity of playable cards that it's effectively, like, twice as many set releases for the format. And that doesn't even begin to mention things like Amonkhet Remastered, Jumpstart, and Pioneer Remastered. Yeah. Is there anything preventing you from taking off in paper? Just your desire to play it. When it is appropriate to start playing paper Magic again, I'm sure your local game store would love to let you play whatever formats you're willing to pay to play in their shop. Hopefully a post-COVID society still contains local game stores. This is gonna be a rough couple of months for small businesses, assuming the federal government doesn't step up and do what's right. And we currently have a Republican Senate and a Republican president, so there's a good chance what's right doesn't get done. I mean, there will assuredly be a post-COVID society. It's just which small businesses survive to get there will, be a real question. Like, will there be a post-COVID society? That's kind of nonsense in my opinion. That question. The what small businesses make it to that post-COVID society is a realistic question to ask, though, in my opinion. Nine cards left in my deck. So, winning on 2 different axes right now. So you wouldn't recommend putting spikes on football pads just yet? I would not. So we're gonna re-escape. Escape Uro here. This is still on 4, though. Jace. Jace is still in my deck, right? Yeah. We're not at Mad Max levels, much closer to slightly irritated Steve. I'm gonna use that quote again in the future. We're not at Mad Max, we're just at slightly irritated Steve.
I'm getting too old for this. Here we go.
Alright, can this Lazav be lethal? It can't, right? Wait, can I Lazav copy Uro? Because it'll have a different name, right? That's how magic... Can I get a confirmation that that's how magic works? I can copy Uro with this, and I'll have both of them? That's like totes how magic works, right? Pretty sure. It's still Lazav. Oh, yeah, it is. 5 cards in our deck, chat. Let's do it. That's a good Historics deck, all things considered. Pioneer and Standard were a little bit rough to kick things off today, but I really like this as a non-rotating format. And like I said, the highlight of any format, even Standard, is like when it's new and people are still exploring it. And this format, just by virtue of how they plan to update and inject cards into it on the regular, I think really has just a bright future for people who like constantly building and solving decks. Like, there's going to be decks like this that are going to just like, this deck's existed in this format since its inception, and you can sit on it and identify with the deck and tune it and play the deck that you like. And as long as we keep getting regular updates, the format also should stay interesting for people who like brewing. As far as the changes we made here today, I think adding the basic island makes a lot of sense. Adding a basic is something I'd kicked around in this before this most recent set, and with the addition of Ghost Quarter, I think into the format, adding a basic finally makes a lot of sense, especially with Field of the Dead coming back. More people are going to be more prepared to attack lands in this format, and because of that, a lot of that land attacking punishes you less if you have a basic. As far as board cards go, we added some Thalias. We didn't really hit any matchups where they were potentially good, so jury's still kind of out on this, but I'm going to leave these on the board tentatively, and we'll try them again next time for sure. Yeah, this is going to be my last deck for the day. I'm probably going to run long a couple of days this week, but I'm not sure exactly which ones just yet. My plan moving forward, as always, you can find my schedule on my website here. Get a little streamception going on. So my approximate plan while the world is going on with what's going on is to do 1 Magic Online League to start each day, 1 Standard deck, and then a minimum of 2 Historic decks. And then depending on how I'm feeling, how the kids are behaving, etc., we might do 1 or 2 extra Historic decks. I'm going to go ahead and publish a bunch of stuff on YouTube from today here momentarily. This last deck will be up there probably in about half hour to 45 minutes once YouTube has a chance to process it. You think Dino's is Jundergirl? Yes, I think you can build it in either of those ways. At any rate, I'm going to hit 1 more ad roll on my way out the door, and I'll catch all of you around later. Hopefully see y'all tomorrow. Everybody stay safe out there. Stay home. If it's not necessary, don't go out. Be responsible. Care about other people. Thanks. These people are great. Buy their stuff.